What is going on, guys? It is ya boy, Kale Alec, back with another deck review for our Destiny Duels format. And we have none other than the boy, the absolute madman, Seto Kaiba, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, boy.
Don't say if I were you, would tell me what you do. How things would be if you were in my shoes, 'cause you're not me.
Now, Kaiba's deck is one of the rare few that I have that is like fully side decked and everything. I think he's got a max extra deck, and yeah. Our boy Seto Kaiba. His deck has a lot of options, much like Yami Yugi's deck. I just kind of want to jump right into it. Not too much reason or rationale behind some of these picks. A lot of them are just natural choices for our boy. But we have our 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. What can I say? It's not a Kaiba deck if there's not 3 of these things in here. Love them, heart and souls of the deck. I wouldn't say this is a Blue Eyes deck, per se. This is more Kaiba-esque than it is, like, Dark Magician like Yugi's was. You'll see what I mean as we kind of go through this, but 2 Blue Eyes alternative. I don't have a third, nor do I want to spend the money on a third, so these 2 are fine. Dragon Spirit of White. We got Pandemic Dragon, Crystal Dragon, this ugly Gold Secret. Yu-Gi-Oh! Rarities are awful, but I have a whole video talking about that. Right up. Boom, right there. So these are just kind of Kaiba's other dragons that he has in here. It's a very dragon-heavy deck, obviously Kaiba. Both of these were used in Dark-Sided Dimensions. He had, like, 2 of these in that movie, but I'm not putting 2 level 7 dragons in here. Pandemic Dragon's pretty good. It's pretty neat, nifty. I like the whole virus theme about Kaiba's cards, and Pandemic Dragon plays into that. Neo Kaiser Glider, because honestly, the original Kaiser Glider is not that great, and so if I'm going to pick an upgraded version, I might as well just put it in here. Blue Eyes Shining Dragon. For continuity's sake, this is in here, although it's not particularly worth summoning. It's kind of bad, but I had the promo of it when I was a kid, so of course I'm going to put it in Kaiba's deck. Very, very iconic card of his. Next up, a pre-errataed Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End. In Ultimate Rare. Is the pre-errata one, but still a good card. I like it a lot. Kaiba used this signature, one of his Chaos cards, right up there. Companion with Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning. Next up, we got 2 ritual monsters in here. We got Paladin of White Dragon, and then we got Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. This is in here to help get your Blue Eyes out a lot easier, but I don't think you might have too much trouble with that. But he's here, and this is the old one. Like, this text gives me a headache to read, but nostalgia. I've had this card for a very long time. And then Blue Eyes Chaos Max. What can I say? An absolute chad of a Blue Eyes monster, and like the best Ritual Max monster I think that there is. So of course we're gonna run it in here. What are you, stupid? Next up, A Assault Core, B Buster Drake, C Crush Wyvern. Not much to say about them. The ABCs and the XYZ Union monsters, some of Kaiba's signature cards, so boom, they're in here. Came in that Kaiba starter deck, or structure deck, so why not toss them in here? Of course I will. X-Head Cannon, Y Dragon Head, and then Z Metal Tank, the original. Letter, almost said number. Jesus, what's wrong with me? The original letter Machine Union monsters. They are okay. I will say I've done a character duel one time with Joey versus this Kaiba deck, and I beat my friend. using really just the whole banishing strategy and then like return from the different dimension. It was crazy. Straight out of the anime. I'm telling you guys, these decks are fun. Give them a try. Next up, Cyber Jar. Banned, but Kaiba has used this. Really good to reset the board if you find yourself in an impossibly bad situation. Next up, 3 Pet in the Dark Clowns. Just better versions of Soggy. Kill one, banish it, get another one. Good for tribute fodder. Next up, kind of Kaiba's little hodgepodge of weird sort of monsters that he has in here just for power's sake. But we got a Vorse Raider. Still a pretty good level 4 vanilla. You know, 1900 attack, level 4. What more can you ask for? Enraged Battle Ox. Just better Battle Ox. Does piercing damage. Do not have Rabid Horseman in here to make Mystic Horseman, just because that's... No, it's bad. Death's Feral Imp. This is a card that I don't think a lot of people remember him using. I think he used it against the Shizu. And it's not bad. You get 1 card from your graveyard back to your deck on this thing's death, or if you flip it. But yeah, not a bad card at all. Kaiser Seahorse, another staple of Kaiba's deck. 2 tributes for a light monster. Get a Blue Eyes, boom. Assault Wyvern. This is from the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. Again, just some small little level 4 monsters that are strong and good for his deck. Spear Dragon. He's used this a few times. Pretty good. Next up, the King of D. Boom! I don't have Lord of D in here because King of D is just better, and he's treated as Lord of D while he's on the field, so why would I not just have this in here? Good card. Love him a lot. He's got a guitar, man. Like, how can you not want King of D in here instead of Lord of D? Like, yes. Each time, yes. Next up, Maiden with Eyes of Blue. I have the other Eyes of Blue cards in his side deck, and I'll get into that here in a little bit, but Maiden's honestly the best one because it helps you get out of Blue Eyes, protects herself, and then you can go into a synchro play with it, which are in here, because based on my rules that I established, Kaiba can have those in here. So next up, we'll go through his spell lineup. Got cost down to make those Blue Eyes a little bit less costly. I'll be here all week. Pot of Greed. Still don't know what this thing does, but it's in here regardless. Soul Release. Really, really nice for that Return from the Different Dimension play. Flute of Summoning Dragon. Can use this with King of D, technically counts. Melody of Awakening Dragon, really, really, really good. And then finally, Dragon Revival Rhapsody, the 3 just instruments of our man of D. Perfect, beautiful, love them. What can I say? The triple threat of the musical world with King of D. Dark Core. Just good removal card. Pitch a card, remove 1 face-up monster from play. You can really fuck up some Exceed players, and then just good removal. Monster Reborn, of course, it's Monster Reborn. Soul Exchange, use your opponent's monsters to tribute summon your Blue Eyes, or your Pandemic Dragon or your Crystal Dragon, doesn't matter. Obviously you can't attack the same turn you do this, but get rid of your opponent's resources. Then the Fang of Critias. I love Kaiba's mechanic. I think out of all 3 of them, Kaiba's got the most interesting mechanic with Critias fusing trap cards into monsters. That's so sick. But really, really good. Always going to run the dragons in here. Next up, 2 Poly. Kaiba's got a oodle of fusion monsters, so having at least 2 in here really helps. Granted, there's a lot of plays that he doesn't need to even fusion summon, but still, it's in here in case you need it. Then we got our 2 ritual spells, Chaos Form and White Dragon Ritual, to summon Paladin of White Dragon and then Chaos Max. Not much to say about those. Your ritual cards for your ritual spells for your ritual monsters. Union Hanger. Amazing card to have if you are running the Union monster engine in here. There's 2 different engines you can kind of run, the Union one, and then you'll see the other one I have kind of stored away in the side deck. But fantastic card. Great Union support for the ABC cards. Shrink. Kaiba loves making his opponents feel smaller than they actually are under his massive ego. So, boom, shrink. Dragon's Fighting Spirit. Not much to say about this card. It's actually not too great and it's really situational, but, on the rare occasion you pull it off, ooh, it's spicy. Next up, Silver's Cry. Really good card for Blue Eyes. Get yourself a new, not a new, but get your normal dragon monsters from grave. And then Enemy Controller. Baby, the classic Kaiba card. One of the classic Kaiba cards. I think I might have a counter on here for classic instead of iconic like the last episode, but regardless, I love these decks. I love these nostalgia. I read the Yu-Gi-Oh manga when I was younger during the summers, and this just, seeing these cards just makes me happy. Next up, his trap lineup. What he's probably most known for, I think, his traps are really iconic. Negate Attack. It's Negate Attack. Return from the Different Dimension, baby. This is so good in this deck, especially with the ABC engine, and you just use Soul Release to get yourself some good-ass cards. Good card. Good card to use in this deck. It's so fun. Just to swarm the field with your banished monsters. Next up, Interdimensional Matter Transporter. Save your monster from getting destroyed, taken, tributed, what have you. Yeah, really good card. I didn't really understand the point of this card until I was much older and really understood the game, and I was like, holy shit, this is not bad. Not competitive good, but, you know. We got Crush Card Virus, errated Crush Card Virus, but still Crush Card Virus regardless. Nice. And then Deck Devastation Virus. Kaiba's Virus cards are just fantastic. They're fun to use. I love using these cards against your opponent. It's just so fun to watch them suffer. Also, speaking of virus, wear your masks and wash your damn hands, everybody. That is going to be the only COVID-related thing I bring up in my videos, but, like, wear your masks and wash your hands, please. Union Scramble. Really good trap card for the Union monsters. Again, the Union engine in this deck runs incredibly well, even though you've, like, mixed it and, like, bricked it a little bit with a bunch of dragon stuff, but, like, it works, man. It just does. Tyrant Wing, in here solely for the purpose of Fang of Critias. This card's okay otherwise. Countergate, use this in Dark Side of Dimensions, and it's not too bad of a card. Crystal Avatar, we got this in here, also used in Dark Side of Dimensions. Pretty good card. I've seen my friend get out of a tough situation while using this deck with this card. Loop of Destruction, so not Ring of Destruction, but Loop of Destruction. Still counts though, and we can still fusion summon the dragon that I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit. And then last but not least, Shadow Spell, one of Kaiba's other signature trap cards. That does it for the main deck. Let's get into the extra deck here. And Kaiba's extra deck is pretty sizable. Also, peep these sexy sleeves. Oh god, I love these. So, we have XY Dragon Cannon, XZ Tank Cannon, and then YZ Tank Dragon. Okay, so these are in here just for continuity's sake. You usually never go into these because it's pretty easy to get all three on the board, even in a big 60-card deck like this, but they're in here just so you have the option, because you always want the option. We got XYZ Dragon Cannon. Classic Kaiba card. Still pretty good to this day. Not much to say about it. I love the art. I love this art specifically, where he's firing the I have to say, XYZ Dragon Cannon has a good amount of art. It has a lot more art than I remember it having, or thinking that it should have, but no, really good card. Love it a lot. Next up, ABC Dragon Buster. This card was a meta and competitive card for the longest time, and I think people still play it. I'm not 100% sure, but this is in here, and this just adds so much to Kaiba's deck. Just makes it even more devastating than it actually is. I don't think I've ever gone into this card, but it's in here. A to Z Dragon Buster Cannon. It looks... I can't even say it looks good. I'd have to see it in motion, because right now it just looks like a bunch of Lego pieces stacked on top of each other. But, yeah, it's in here. Next up, Tyrant Burst Dragon. We're getting into the Fang of Critias Fusion Dragons, and I love them all. Their designs are all so solid, and they're so good. So Tyrant Wing gets you Tyrant Burst Dragon. Ring/Loop of Destruction gets you Destruction Dragon. One of the newer ones, actually. Really cool. Love this card a lot. Doom Virus Dragon, probably the best one of this whole group. He's so cool, such a good ability, and I just love him so much. Mirror Force Dragon's also really good, but it's not in here because you'd only see it in a tag duel with Yugi and Kaiba. We don't really do tag duels too often, but I do have him. I have like a few copies of Mirror Force Dragon, but not in this deck. Next up, Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. They took a page out of the Cyber Dragon deck and then gave us a two-headed Blue Eyes fusion. Really good, actually. It's not a bad card at all. I pulled this at a sneak peek for, oh god, what was that set with Crystal Wing when it released? It's Shining Victories, you f***ing idiot. You have a playmat of it in front of your goddamn computer at work. I don't remember, but yeah, this was the one card I pulled from sneak peek. You could have been a Crystal Wing at the time, but I have you instead, but whatever. Next up, Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Just better Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Again, if you're gonna put the effort to fuse 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons into a monster, it better have more than just 4,500 attack points. This is good. And speaking of, we have Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. I like this card a lot. You can run the original Blue Eyes Ultimate if you're so inclined, but this and then Neo is just better. If you're going to put in the effort to fusion some of those 3 Blue Eyes, just use one of these 2. Next up, the last 2 parts of the extra deck are Azure Eyes Silver Dragon and Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Completely summonable because we have Maiden with Eyes of Blue. Not much to say about these cards. They're in here as legacy support, because Kaiba would realistically... Come on, look at these cards. Kaiba would absolutely use these cards if given the opportunity. So, that leads us to the side deck. Now, the side deck in here has 2 completely different playstyles for the deck, and this is one of the few decks I have that's got like a fully loaded side deck. It's kind of crazy. So we got Whitestone of Ancients. We got Sage with Eyes of Blue. We got... Oh, excuse me, that was disgusting. Ugh. We got Protector with Eyes of Blue. Priestess with Eyes of Blue. And then Master with Eyes of Blue. Honestly, you just replace the ABC engine with these, and then you have a more consistent Blue Eyes sort of engine. Not bad. Not bad at all. I love their art. They're so anime looking, but it works. Next up, Kaiser Voice Raider. The only reason this isn't in here is because it's level 5, and it takes a little more effort to summon it. I mean, it's not a bad card at all, but it's just emo Voice Raider. Super cool. Next up, our boy, Obelisk, the Tormentor. You're going to find that the 3 decks that have the God cards in them all have them in the main deck, except for Kaiba, because he just has so much shit going on already in his deck that Obelisk kind of... I don't want to say it clogs it, because you could realistically summon Obelisk with like the ABC engine, but like, he's okay. But I have him in here just because... What, was I not going to throw this into the Kaiba deck? Look at this thing. It's the original art with playable card. Of course I'm going to play it. Next up, Ring of Defense. If you feel so inclined to protect yourself from Loop of Destruction. Diffusion. I don't know why this is in the spells section, but we got Deep Eyes. Honestly, if you're going to run a big boss monster Blue Eyes, take out Shining and put in Deep Eyes. He's honestly better. Majesty with Eyes of Blue, and then Cloning. All cards Kaiba has used and/or are legacy port for Blue Eyes. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is pretty much the deck. I mean, there are a few Blue Eyes cards that I don't have that came out in like the Duelist packs, or the Legendary Duelist packs, or whatever they're called, that I didn't pick up. I don't think there's very much else you can do to this deck. I kind of have everything covered as far as what Kaiba could and should run. But again, If you guys feel like there's something else he can run, or there's cards that he's used that I didn't put in here, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'd love to hear what you guys' opinion is on the deck. Which engine would you prefer? The ABC XYZ Unions or the Eyes of Blue whole gang? Let me know. Anyways, stay dueling, guys, and try not to be a 4th-rate duelist with a 5th-rate deck. I think I just fucked up. Bye.
You're a third-rate duelist.
With a 4th-rate deck.